What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video on my channel. And in today's video, and in today's second video, I'm going to be talking about my opinion on the Formula One season so far. Um, it has been an interesting season, to be perfectly honest. With obviously, um, Charles Leclerc leading the World Championship, 4 races in now. And I have been very impressed with the way Charles Leclerc has been driving so far this season. He has definitely came a long way since his first season in Formula One as a rookie, and especially with his first first season with Ferrari, which was 2019. And yeah, but I wanted to really start this video about talking about how Mercedes have done this season, because let's be honest, Mercedes have not had the start to the season they necessarily wanted to have, because they've won the past 8 titles. And I support Mercedes as a team in F1, and obvious and Lewis Hamilton as a driver. And in my opinion, Lewis Hamilton is the greatest Formula One driver of all time. And I just think it's been a weird season. It really has been. It's not been so far, because you usually expect to see Mercedes on top form. You usually expect to see them dominating the race, but they haven't been. They've had numerous problems so far, and the driver which has been that's managed to perform well with, let's say, not the best car on the grid, is George Russell. He's had a great debut season at Mercedes, because now he's in the big leagues, racing for Mercedes. I think George Russell has a very high chance now of becoming a future world champion. And another driver I see as a future world champion is Lando Norris. I see him as a future world champion as well. But like I said, Mercedes have just had a terrible season, and Lewis Hamilton is just, he's had some terrible performances. I think if he was in the right car, and he was in the fastest car on the grid, which is obviously the Ferrari at the moment, I think Hamilton would just dominate. Would just absolutely dominate Formula One. In fact, if he was in the Ferrari right now, he'd probably be the championship leader. He'd have a massive point lead on over the person in second in the drivers' championship. But Lewis Hamilton hasn't had the season I think he has wanted to have, really. But yeah, what a season! An awful start to the season for my favourite F1 driver. It's sad to see, but I feel like Mercedes have got a lot of work to do. And I feel like it will take time for them to take the right steps into the right directions, especially in terms of developing the car and developing upgrades for the car. But yeah, um, yeah, but I really hope they do bounce back in a way, especially Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis and George will work as a team to help Mercedes bounce back, because I think they can. It will take time, and it will take lots of time and progress and hard work and dedication and teamwork to do this, to help Mercedes bounce back. Another talking point I wanted to talk about is obviously last season was a very not the easiest thing for me to take in. Max Verstappen winning the world championship. I've never been a fan of Max Verstappen myself, because I feel like he has a driving style which is too aggressive. I understand why in certain circumstances the driver may need to push the car or might be asked by the pit wall to really push the car on track and go flat out. But Max Verstappen is just a dangerous driver. He's just so quick and he's just so dangerous. I feel like I just don't like Max Verstappen as a driver. And I cannot see him at all winning the world championship. But yeah, that's my opinion on Max Verstappen. And I think he's just a way too aggressive, and I don't like his attitude either. But he's way too aggressive on track, and his overtaking style can be sometimes be very dangerous when overtaking the car. And also when defending his position as well, he can be quite just aggressive. But anyway, Red Bull they've had a fairly decent start to the season. I'm not really fussed by Red Bull as a team. I don't really care about them. Ferrari, they've had a great start to the season. Really great start. Really solid start to the season. Um, and I think Ferrari could potentially be constructors champions this year. And yeah, Ferrari have had a great season. Williams, they've had a bit of a slow start again. They've only had a 1 point finish this season with Alex Albon. I think finishing 10th in the last race of a race before that. Um, before that, Aston Martin, another team that's had a slow start. They in the last race they had a double points finish. So grateful for the Aston Martin F1 team. McLaren are starting to make progress. I'm really happy with McLaren making progress just by the fact I'm a Mercedes supporter. It's always great to see one of the greatest teams in F1 history starting to make progress and build and on their car and really develop it. Because last race, Lando Norris got a podium. Got a podium. Lando Norris. He is literally a future world champion in the making, definitely. And I feel like his first race is coming very soon. Have a weird feeling it's around the corner. Um, Haas, they've had a really great start to the season. Solid start for them in the midfield mix this year. And yeah, they've got a great driver lineup with Kevin Magnussen. What a driver he's been this year! Great driver, solid results he's been giving the team, and obviously the rookie Mick Schumacher, who is the son of seven-time world champion Michael Schumacher. He's had a great second season so far. Even though he's not had a points finish yet, I have a feeling that he does have his first points finish coming. Um, but yeah, Hatter, I think have got a great season ahead, and all the other teams I've talked about, like McLaren, I think they've got a great season ahead of them, and so has Williams potentially, and Aston Martin as well. AlphaTauri, they've had a fairly decent start to the season. Not the best, but pretty decent in my opinion. But I feel like AlphaTauri could have a solid season in the midfield, in the midfield as well. Um, who else is there? Alpine. Alpine have had a fairly decent start as well. Um, but Fernando Alonso's not had much luck so far because he's had a few retirements and a few finishes outside of the points. Um, who else is there? But yeah, a great season for a pretty decent start for AlphaTauri or the sister team to Williams, not Williams, Red Bull. But yeah, it's been a very interesting. It's been a very interesting start to the season so far. I mean, Alfa Romeo as well. They've had a really good start to the season. Alfa Romeo, especially with Gunyu Joe making his points debut in F1 and also his debut in F1 and his first debut points debut in F1. Pretty good game for Guan Yu Zhou, or Zhou Guan Yu. And also Valtteri Bottas is a great driver for Alfa Romeo. I think Alfa Romeo are in for a good season as well. Right, let's talk about big one. Who do I think is going to be world champion this year? I predict that this year, these are my predictions. I predict it's going to be Charles Leclerc who's going to be drivers' champion, and I think that Mercedes or Ferrari for constructors' champion. But I feel like at the moment it's in Ferrari's favour. But yeah, that's what I think. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching another video on the channel. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.